ngoshile eti kumemo kula dolola vale lilo wingi
iseko wingi mwakwete isaso wingi mwakwete mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
katushi muchi wakege wali bomba kale lomba mwatu jatule lilake Good evening and welcome to today's broadcast. It's a blessed day of the Lord, Monday, July 21st. And for wherever you are listening to us and wherever you are watching us, share the broadcast. We have a very interesting program today. We are hosting the ULP chairperson and United Kwacha Alliance chairperson, Honorable Sikota, former member of parliament for Livingstone for many years, a man, who's renowned in our country, is one of our senior politicians. He has seen it all. He was vice president of the United Party for National Development in opposition, and he was a founder member with Honorable Anderson Mazoka. It is going to be an interesting debate. Let Honorable Sikota give you just who he is in this small clip. He was addressing University of Zambia students before I bring him on. And today we are discussing the united front in the opposition. Is it possible? We have so far hosted on this program Honorable Binwa Mpundu, Honorable Harry Kalawa, and Honorable Fred Membe and Dr. Cosmas Msomali. So today we're privileged that we are hosting the ULP chairperson, president, and UKA chairperson, Honorable Sikota, State Council. But this is what he says about himself. Just listen to this.
I urge you to continue in this kind of fashion. I used to be in several committees whilst I was in Parliament. I was the chair of the Tourism Committee at one stage, chair of the Youth and Sports Committee at one stage, chair of the Health Committee at one stage, chair of the Energy Committee at one stage, and most of the ad hoc committees, when you had the Parliament to ratify, I ended up being chair of most of those. I was also on the Privileges and Support Services Committee, which is the one which deals with discipline of parliamentarians. And so I know what is bad parliamentary practice and so on. And having seen the way you conducted yourselves today, I think that I would have been redundant in that committee. I wish to applaud the maturity with which you were conducting yourselves. Not just maturity, but struck me the most is the high level of discourse that you were having. It was, you could see that everybody had really thought out what they were coming to say. They had researched it, and they were saying things that made sense. One thing you can be proud about is that you're going to change the way people look at the youths who are in politics. Right now, most people think that if you're talking about youth or young people in politics, they have to hurl stones, or they have to hurl rocks, or hurl insults. You were doing none of that. You were hurling ideas. And that is what is needed. Youths who can hurl ideas, thoughts. People, youths who can hurl a better way of interacting with each other. I would much rather have you come and talk to us than some of the people we get who are supposed to be mature. They have not shown the level of maturity that you have. To the patron, I want to say that this initiative is really good in that I was privileged to have been in the Students United Nations, which is held in Geneva, because luckily for me, I was privileged to have my father who was a diplomat, so I was in school there in Geneva. And that's where I cut my teeth in terms of being able to debate, in terms of being confident enough to stand before people and to talk. And so what you're doing now is having that opportunity to build up your confidence, to build up your self-belief. If I hadn't had that, perhaps I would never have been Member of Parliament for Livingston. But I cut my teeth there. So you should do the same as well. And each and every one of you I've seen speaking today, should you happen to be the candidate in the constituency where I live, I'm pledging to you today that you will have my vote.
Awesome, awesome. Today we are hosting Honorable Sikota Sikota, State Council. Let me just bring him in. Honorable Sikota Sikota, welcome to today's broadcast, and thank you for sparing your time at short notice. Oh, wonderful. Honorable Sikota Sikota, we brought you today on this program, I think, for one critical issue, just how the united opposition can look at the crisis that we have in the country. The nation is looking to the opposition for solution. But maybe before we get that, get us a feel of the state of the country at the moment.
I think I've never seen this country at such a low ebb. Everywhere you go, everybody you talk to, every kind of situation, whether it's at the market, whether it's at a funeral, a wedding, anywhere where you go, people are talking politics. And they're talking about how hard things are. They're talking about how they've never seen Zambia in the state it is in. They're talking about the unnecessary animosity which is shown by different parties to each other. They're talking about the regional conflicts that seem to be brewing up. And they're saying why have all these things started to occur during this government? That is what everybody is asking.
The Honorable Sakwiba Sikota, the state of the country, as you've rightly said, is stinging, especially the crisis such as the cost of living crisis, the load shedding, I think the longest we've seen in many years, the failure by President Hakainde Hichilema to get hold of this economy and make a turnaround. What do you think is a crisis? Is it a crisis of leadership policies? Where do you finger point where the crisis is?
Thank you. It's a combination of various things. It is a crisis of leadership. It is also a crisis of the policies. Crisis of leadership in the sense that you have people ruling this country who feel they know everything. And as a result, they don't listen to anybody. You have people who are in industry and who have been leaders in the economy, who were very happy with the candidature of the current president. And they thought that things would be going right. But to their dismay, when you talk to them now, they all say that the president now does not listen to them. He paid lip service to what they were saying before he went in. And if you noticed, during his campaigns, he would say yes to everything. If he was talking to the consumers, he would tell them that the price of mealie meal, he would bring it down. The very next afternoon or next day, he would be talking to the farmers and promising the farmers that I'm going to bring up the price that we pay for your maize. The two obviously are opposite, but for each group he talks to, they would be happy with what he has said. So he's somebody who will go out there and just say whatever he thinks you want to hear. That's why he could even go to the extent of saying things which, quite frankly, are ludicrous, such as that you vote me in the morning, by 14 hours, the kwacha rate would have... I mean, that clearly cannot be said by somebody who is serious, somebody who is truthful, because everybody knows that that is not possible. But in order to get the vote, he was willing to say anything. So really, there were no real plans that they had. There were just promises of fixing everything, and without telling you actually how they would fix it. That's why you find that all those promises which were made, they have not been fulfilled, because there was no thought behind them. The only thought they had was, what do people want to hear? Not what they can actually do. The second reason why things are failing is that the policies themselves that they are trying to put in place are also geared towards pleasing investors, pleasing people who are foreigners, and not pleasing the Zambian people. Priority is given to external business people. You ask yourself, TBI, that's the Tony Blair Institute, very quietly in here, but they're not telling you what they're doing. That is because they are doing things where they are really ripping from our resources. They are doing that. That is why Tony Blair, this is the African country he comes to the most, but he comes in unannounced because he is making so much money. And you wonder who his partners are. Those are the kind of people who, when you're talking about the economy of Zambia, because they're out there saying, no, there's been this growth in the economy and praising themselves and so on. One thing you have to know, though, is sometimes they exaggerate the figures. But let's say there has been this growth in the economy. The ordinary person is not feeling it. The only people who are gaining are like the mining companies and so on. So all those things about that GDP has gone up and so on, it may have gone up, but it is not coming down to the ordinary person. it is all going out to these business people and their partners. And so the policies are wrong in that they are not looking after the middle class, they're not looking after the lower classes and so forth. And then also there is a high level of corruption that is there, a terribly high level of corruption. And they are not willing to actually do anything about it. They had to be forced, for example, with this medical scandal that we have, they had to be forced by the American ambassador having to cry. It was so bad that he cried. That is when now they're trying to make it seem like they're doing something. But that is something that has been there for years. The American government told them about it about 3 years ago, but they did nothing until, out of pure frustration, the American ambassador had to actually cry. That's how bad it is that you're even making diplomats cry. That's how bad it is.
The crisis of the UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema, you can fail to actually track them. You know, if it is not the constitution that blasts him for abrogating the constitution or in the constitutional amendments and directs him to abandon the process in parliament, it will be a scandal in the mining sector, in the agricultural sector, the medicine scandal. We now have this audio. I don't know if you had an opportunity to listen to this audio.
Yes, I did have an opportunity.
The audio for me gives me an insight in the workings of President Hakainde Hichilema. First, the extrajudicial and extra normal processes that is willing to jump just to get things done. Is that a normal type of leadership? What is the view of the opposition on matters like this?
It's really, really very disheartening that we have a country where such a thing is exposed and the government does not take it seriously. Whether it is true or not true, the allegations are so serious that the head of state himself, who is mentioned in there, must come and face the Zambian people and address them on this issue. Sending his press people to make blanket denial that, oh, that's AI and so on, is not what should be done. He has to face the people. Now, turning to their allegation that that is AI, if they truly believe that, let them have that sent for professional analysis as to whether or not it is AI. And I am pretty sure that it is not AI, because AI has problems with the local languages, such as Bemba, for example. It is not something where it's got a sufficient sort of like programming and training in to be able to adequately make a realistic voice concoction. What makes it even more complex is that you have the person who is speaking also chewing and so on, making it even more complicated for AI to be able to do that. The other factor which is there is that with AI, a lot of times you'll find that there is no emotion in the words. AI has problems with putting in that emotion during the speaking. I'm sure, Emmanuel, you have seen this, is it Muzungu or Kazungu, Kamukomboni or something like that. I forget exactly what the name of the thing is, where they've got this white gentleman talking about Zambian politics, you can see that that is quite clearly AI, because you have this person and the body is absolutely still throughout the thing. It's just the head which is moving slightly and so on, and not in a very natural way. And then also, when you listen to the voice, there's no emotion in it. There's no inflections and so on, which would happen when naturally somebody is speaking. So you can easily tell that that thing is AI. But when you talk about this audio, there's so many inflections, and all the Bemba words are done perfectly. AI cannot do that. Cannot do that. And the person is chewing at the same time. AI has problems with putting in the breathing of somebody when they're breathing and talking. But you can hear that quite clearly in this audio. So,
Chairman, when we received that audio, I think we took a great deal because of the gravity of the matters that have been discussed in that audio. We took a great deal to verify that it was not AI. We also took time to collaborate the information. I'll see there's a video of Honorable Robert Chabinga in an airlink. In the video, he's saying after he spoke to the president, after those 12 missed calls and 30 missed calls from the director of intelligence, he says when they finally told him, he finally went through, he said he would, jump on the plane. And he says, I'll jump even in economy, although I don't fly economy. Now there's a video that has emerged, he's in economy. And he talked about members of the PF that were on the plane that day. And you can see from the video, members of the PF, including the person he sat next to, Honorable Chanda Katoto, with the Luapula MP. So clearly, the video is real. It's gone through the scrutiny of test and verification. And like you said, if we had a serious government, the president himself will have addressed this matter. Whether he was going to dissociate himself from the plans that were revealed in this audio by Robert Chabinga and the cabinet minister. This matter is so serious, you can't trivialize and wish it away that it's an AI when you know the impact of even bilateral relations between Zambia and South Africa. We are seeing a leadership in crisis at every turn. Whether it's a cost of living crisis, whether it's a load shedding issue. You have load shedding, our people are load shedded, they are only given power for 4-5 hours, and for 19 hours they are load shedded. Businesses are collapsing. But this government keeps on exporting power to Botswana, to the DRC. They even have brought power traders. You see leadership in crisis after crisis. I think it comes down to a leadership crisis. My question to you, do you think there's an opportunity for President Hakainde Hichilema and his government to recover? Because our dear brother, Honorable Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, only has 1 year and one budget. Do you think they can recover from all this crisis? Or it has become inevitable that Zambians have to look to you, the opposition?
before I come to that, I'd like to comment on one thing that you raised. That of the international repercussions of what has been said in that audio. It is very serious in that you are saying that another country, your fellow African country, has got such a bad judiciary that they can be bribed. That's a very, very serious thing being said. And that one of the people in that audio is a minister of yours, and you're making those allegations. What does it do to our relations with South Africa? I'm pretty sure that the South African government is not happy. They may not have said anything because they would not like to escalate this more, but they've certainly taken note and said this is what the Zambian government is. Now, If the Zambian government is serious, even the leader of the opposition would make a statement in parliament about this, explaining this. Not wait for somebody to demand that they be a statement by the leader of the opposition, but for them to do it themselves, because it is serious. And that brings us to the fact that this is not a serious government. That will not be done. And so these kind of mistakes will carry on happening. It's not only on the political front, but also on the economic front that they're making these problems. Like you were stating, exporting power whilst we are load shedding. You know, earlier on when they took away our strategic reserve maize and we didn't have enough. When they're giving away the taxes that we were getting from the mines, and now they say that they want to borrow $1 billion locally. But at the same time as them saying that we've got a $1 billion deficit, they want to bring in unnecessary expenses of creating 80 new seats in parliament and what that would entail in cost. And then you're telling people like the resident doctors, we don't have enough money for you. So the quality of our health services goes down if you're not going to be able to have sufficient resident doctors, or resident doctors who are not happy because they are not being paid sufficiently or paid at all. That affects the ordinary person in the street. You have people being laid off in their jobs, so there's not enough jobs for people. I was at the university just yesterday. Not that clip you were showing. I went back again. Just yesterday I was with them. And you have situations where they are not sure whether when they graduate, they will get jobs. Because it doesn't look like this government is creating that situation. You have everybody where the next meal will come from. So for Minister Musokotwani, he doesn't have enough time to turn this around. And that is the reason why you even hear the president himself telling people, please be patient, give us another 3 years. He's on record as saying that, because he does recognize that within this year, they will not be able to. That is what leads to the desperation they have. Now, what you need is people who are focused on making things better for the Zambian people. And I believe that there are a lot of good people in the opposition who have that focus of not themselves, but the people of Zambia. That is their focus, and making life better for those ordinary people in the street. So I think that the Zambians don't need to think that there is no hope. There is the opposition which has that.
That brings me, before I now delve into how it is possible for the opposition to work together and what mechanisms are available before you. I know generals do not disclose war strategies, but you give us general framework of what you think should be done or what is being done, really. So before we transition to that topic, we just lost the late president, Zambia's 6th president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. He was close to you from the profession and also in politics. We lost him on 5th June. He hasn't been put to rest because of the current standoff between the state, President Hakainde Hichilema, and the family. Just speak to the loss of the late president, how you took it, maybe probably use the opportunity to pass your condolences, and also just give us some insights of you and President Edgar Chagwa Lungu.
Thank you for that. Certainly, I would like to again pass my condolences to Esther and the family. and also to President Lungu's political family, that is the PF, and generally the opposition, because
if I lost Honorable Sakwiwa Sikota there, let me just verify if I've lost him or is. Let me just play a song. I lost you there for a while. Are you back?
Yeah.
Yes, I think you are back, Honorable Sakwiwa Sikota. I think you are back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Honorable Sakwiwa Sikota, you can continue. I think you are back.
I am back now. Okay. I'll go back just a little bit because I'm not quite sure where you.
Yes,
where
yes,
I
thank
broke
you.
off. I was saying that apart from condolences to Mama Esther and the family, also condolences to his political family, which is the Patriotic Front, and also generally to the opposition, and generally to the nation as well. I think that it is quite clear that he is somebody who had decided to put aside his own personal needs in order to try to serve the Zambian people. I say so because he knew very well that by coming back into politics, he would lose the trappings of a former head of state and the very good conditions they have. In spite of that, he said he'll forgo that and work with the Zambian people and encourage the opposition to work together. And I think that one of the ways that we can honor him is to make sure that we make sure that that wish of his, that we all work together, is brought into fruition. And that is something that we are working on. Just this afternoon, I was talking to various of our colleagues, and they are all of the view that we must hasten this issue of working together. One of the things that the Zambian people are demanding are that we should put aside our individual desires and ambitions and make our only desire that of serving the Zambian people and rallying behind a single candidate. I think that I can confidently tell the Zambian people that on the question of presenting you with a candidate who will be the flag bearer for the opposition, that is the progressive opposition, we are going to do that, and it will not take us, we'll do so before the end of August. That is an assurance that you have. There are certain things that are being put in place, procedures and processes that we're going through, and that announcement will be made. So the Zambian people can be rest assured that we are listening to them and we're going to do as they've demanded. Of course, there are some in the opposition who may not be listening to the Zambian people, who may attempt to go solo. It's their right. It's their right. But those of us who care as to what Zambian people want and listen to what the Zambian people want have all stated we will not go solo, but we will work together so that the desires of the Zambian people are met. And it is not only just about getting rid of the UPND and President Hakainde. That is not the goal. The goal is actually putting in place policies and actions which will develop Zambia. Getting rid of UPND and President Hakainde is just collateral damage. That's not what we want. There will just be collateral damage, because in order to do that, we need to put aside this barrier towards the people getting what they want. So that is going to be our focus, and that is what we're going to do.
State Council, that is a very bold announcement that probably by August you'll have a single candidate as a flag bearer for the opposition. I'm aware that there are various opposition fronts. You have Tonse, Alliance. You have your United Kwacha Alliance. We have the Zambia We Want grouping. When you say we will likely have a flag bearer, do you mean under the United Kwacha Alliance only, or are you collaborating with the other alliances to see how you can then come up with one unified candidate for the opposition?
Like I was stating, we are collaborating with all the progressive opposition parties. I think you have seen that the United Opposition Front, which is slowly being formed and coming together, has had participation from various political parties, whether it's the Zambia We Want, whether it's Tonse, whether it's UKA, and the various other political parties. UNIP, for example, which is also there are many. And this idea of working together is something that all of us have said we must do. If you recall, even the very first presser that we had as the United Opposition, all of us made that statement that that is what we want. I don't think there's any one of us who has said that we do not want to carry on with what we started. If any feel that way, they will tell you that they want to go solo. And I'm pretty sure the Zambian people will say, if you're going solo, it's exactly that. You'll be solo and not with us. The Zambian people are going to be with the group that is working together.
When I hosted your other colleagues, Honorable Fred Membe, Dr. Cosmos Musumali, when I hosted Binwa Mpundu with his Ichaba Iche, when I hosted Honorable Harry Kalaba, from the callers, and you probably see when you open the lines at the hour, at the top of the hour, the concerns by Zambians. What should bring you together? Do you have a common framework of policies, for example, in health, education, on infrastructure? Are you also, other than just a candidate, are you also discussing deeper things like some unified basic policies? What should bring you together? Is, the UPND accuses the opposition of just that what brings them together is just the hate for Hakainde Hichilema, uses such a strong term. You have seen him even when you were speaking to Isaac Mwanza and the group of civil society. He lamented that everything he does is severely opposed by the opposition because they don't like him. Even made attribution, like maybe because of his tribe, something that was very unfortunate. But he says he's fought and that we didn't fight this severe, the other 6 presidents. We seem to have exclusive fight for him because he said he's a pariah. Is the opposition coming together because we have a pariah in State House? Is the opposition coming together for maybe a bigger purpose? Maybe speak to that.
No, thank you very much for that. When you ask me that question, it reminds me of what President Kaunda said, late President Kaunda. And as you know, he's somebody who had been in politics for so long, from the time he was very young in age. And he has met all kinds of different politicians in all kinds of different situations. And there's an interview where he is asked to assess what he thinks about Zambia and its leaders. And he only picks out one person as being the one he's afraid of in terms of keeping the unity of the country together. I think you've all seen that. So what made Dr. Kaunda do that? I don't think you can say that Dr. Kaunda hated Tongas. He had Honorable Mainza Chona as his deputy for a very, very long time. He had Kebi Musokotwani as his a deputy for a long time. So clearly, he was seeing something which perhaps the other Zambian people are now seeing. So it is not because of his tribe. It's because of the things he does. That is what is making people criticize him. They criticize policies as such like exporting our power when we have no power. They criticize the insensitivity of when people say that the load shedding is getting to them, telling them, why don't you get yourself solar inverters? It's like Marie Antoinette telling poor people in France when they say there's no bread to say, why don't you buy cake? It's equivalent to that, to tell the ordinary Zambian that don't worry about load shedding, just get yourself a solar inverter. Go and buy cake. It is that kind of attitude which makes the people of Zambia say, this is not the right person to be there. The lack of empathy. You have people in Mufumbwe who are killed by the police. And then you start talking about they shouldn't be doing that because they're illegal and so on. You have created a situation where people have got no jobs. They either will have to rob people or find some means of just making a living. Instead of saying, we're going to make the situation in those mining areas such that they can safely mine and so forth, you send in your people and deaths occur. And when that happens, you're so cold in the way that you address them. You even have one of your heads of media talking about that, asking, do you want us, just because people have got no food, to let them mine illegally? That is cold. That is heartless. You know, those are the kind of things that he and his party should sit back and reflect on. That is the reason why the Zambian people are going to get rid of them next year. The lack of empathy. Even on the issue of the late president, this insistence of wanting the body against the wishes of the family, that coldness of a family is in mourning and you start a campaign of vilifying the late president, of vilifying the family which is in mourning. That is cold. You know, it sends shivers down my spine. That how can somebody be so cold? And to them, that is normal. They even go out and start talking about in African culture, the dead, this and that. In African culture, you do not send your lieutenants to start, whether it's in parliament and everywhere else, talking the way they do about the late president. You do not torture a mourning family in African culture. Let us get a little bit of empathy.
Indeed, indeed, let's have some form of empathy. Let us have some form of sympathy. African values demand it, but we've seen some of the worst vilified campaigns I've ever seen, you know, driven by the state against a family. Whatever the interest was, I think that was totally inhuman, totally against the spirit of Ubuntu, totally against our African principles. and it shatters me. Members of the audience, you'll have an opportunity to ask Honorable Sakwiba Sikota any question relating to the opposition presenting a candidate as a united front. My line is open. You can call on this number. You can see it is 0973078082. It's on WhatsApp. You can call and we'll listen to you and your proposals and your questions to Honorable Sakwiba Sikota. Honorable Sikota, the issue of policies, I asked, I think you haven't attended to it, of what's bringing you together. Have you discussed unity of purpose? Maybe you take my question with this other question that is coming from a caller. Caller, just a minute, because my phone was on, I was wearing earpods, so let me just switch off the earpods so that they can hear you. Yeah, I think it's off now. Caller, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. Anonymous, if that's okay.
That's okay, Anonymous. Make your contribution. We are hosting United Kwacha Alliance Chairperson, Honorable Sakwiba Sikota here.
Yes, I'm very delighted to see him. I've been longing to see his face. It's been a long time. So, good evening, State Council Sakwiba Sikota. I would like to find out, you were in the UPND for a long time. You were also vice president. I believe you are also from the initiation with the late Anderson Mazoka. I would like you to describe to us Hakainde Hichilema as a person. What kind of a human being is he? Like, what was your experience with him? Because maybe if you can tell us who he is, we will be able to, like, understand and relate to how he's ruling, because I don't understand how he's ruling Zambia like his kitchen, because these are human beings that he's dealing with and he doesn't care. He's pushing his own agendas. The Bill 7s, he doesn't care about development. He doesn't care about the economy. He says that he's an economy. That was his gospel. But now we don't see him talking about the economy anymore. The only thing he talks about, he's crying about the constitution, which he breaks every day. He breaks our constitution. He's ripping it off. He doesn't care about what the Zambians say. He doesn't care. He swore to protect this thing. And he's just doing his own things. I want to know, what kind of a person is Hakainde Hichilema on a personal level for somebody like you? Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
Yeah, and good evening, Honorable Sakwiba Sikota.
Thank you. He can hear you.
Good
yeah,
evening.
it's good to have you. And my name is Patrick Chilufya, and I'm calling from the UK. Just to introduce myself a bit, Ambassador Mwamba knows me. Honorable Sikota, I was one of the people in the diaspora who came together and ushered in, who helped HH ushered into power. And I'm also one of the few Zambians, most Zambians in the diaspora, who are now saying this is not the man we supported, because he's made a 360 degrees U-turn against all the things we agreed upon, the principles, you know, the 10-point plan and everything. So we are so sorry, and we have to rectify our mistake. And we're praying that the united opposition front becomes a reality. Because the way Zambia is at the moment, another 5 years we are doomed. And we are looking, all Zambians, Honorable Sakwiba, I was in Zambia in November last year. And because I'm writing a book, and one of the chapters in that book is about Zambia. So I've been researching, and so I traveled from Livingstone up to the end of Northwestern Province. Zambians are saying we need a strong opposition because we need a vehicle to remove this government. We cannot live in a country where we are gunned. And other people like me who lived a bit in UNIP, we are saying we cannot go back to one-party state. You know, where you were scared who is standing on your left. You know, and not only that, under Kaunda, we were united. There was a unity of purpose, one Zambia, one nation. In this government, there is not even unit. So Zambia is in a terrible situation. The audio is so embarrassing. I've had friends calling me from South Africa. I lived in South Africa for 10 years. So I've got a lot of friends I worked with at BP, at Castro. They are saying, what's wrong with Zambia now? One of them was telling me, you guys, are you exporting corruption and confusion to other countries now, to your neighboring countries? Can you believe it? But anyway, let me move on. You are right, Honorable Squiva. The biggest problem Zambia is facing now is that of leadership. And this is why I'm writing a book on leadership. And corruption, Honorable Squiva, is a symptom of bad leadership. So there's no way the president can run away from the corruption because the buck stops at him. So, Squiva, what are you going to do about this demon called corruption? How are you going to deal with it? Because Squiva, HH knew about corruption in the Ministry of Health. And when Sata was president, he wrote to him around 2012, 2013, to say you should fire Sylvia Masewo and Winter Kavimba because they are corrupt. And he appointed Sylvia Masewo, the same person he said was corrupt, to be in a ministry that has been used as a cash cow for corrupt people. You remember Dr. Bulaya was jailed in 2008, Kapoko was jailed, but he goes and he knew that there's corruption. How come he never resolved that issue? What is a united front? What are you going to do? Because corruption is robbing Zambians, medicine, jobs, everything. And then, what is your passion for Zambia?
Thank you, Chilufya, from the United Kingdom.
Let me just finish the last one.
Yeah.
And then, Basa Kuiva, all Zambians are talking about it, especially the Copper Belt and the Northwestern Province, about our minerals. Look at Mufumbwe. Zambia, I've done my research, Basa Kuiva. No nation has developed without harnessing or leveraging their God-given resources to the benefits of their people. If you remember, Kaunda developed Zambia after taking control of the minerals. You remember the 51% he got in 1969. That's how we built Tazara and everything. But us, we are selling out our minerals. Look at Mopani. It was given to their friends. Everybody knows about it. What are you going to do? Because Zambians are saying we wanted the next thing in the next election is minerals. We want to control. They are not saying we need to grab, we need to nationalize, but we need to control. Because we've tried everything. If we say, let's tax them on sales, they transfer price. Let's tax them on royalties, they cook the production. And you remember Mwanawasa and Mangande said, let's introduce windfall tax. And it was going to bring billions and billions. What happened? Musokotwane stopped it. So what is what do you think about that? What are you going to do about our mineral resources? And lastly, microeconomic gains are not translated to low cost of living, food on the table. What is the new United Front is going to do about this issue? I rest my case.
Thank you, Chilufya, from the United Kingdom. We have another caller. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll keep my name anonymous.
Yes, anonymous. Make your contributions.
Thanks very much, firstly, Ambassador Emmanuel. thank very much Ambassador Emmanuel for the platform. State Council Secretary Sikota, greetings, and thank you for making plain the need that we have as a nation. For me, we clearly need a leadership shift, and urgently so, and 2026, by God's grace, is here. Now, State, I think we've been hearing about procedures and processes from the time Uka start, and our challenge is growing bigger and bigger. We thank God that you said by August, but August is in a few weeks' time. Please, we ask you as leaders to be able to deal with these procedures and processes very quickly and agree on the leader that will be the front runner for the opposition. We need that urgently. I rest my case.
Thank you very much, State Council. Let me just take two more calls. The phones are buzzing, but let me just take two more calls and then you give us an opportunity to answer. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good afternoon, Ambassador. I'd rather remain anonymous.
Please make your contributions.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello. Please make your contribution.
Can't hear.
Okay, Ambassador Mwamba. Good evening. I'd rather remain anonymous.
Yeah, we've gotten that. Thank you very much. Make your contribution.
Yes. Okay, so my contribution is going to the United Front that's coming up so that we Ambassador, are you getting me?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly. Proceed and make your contributions.
Okay, good evening, State Council. So my contribution is to the opposition that we have right now. State Council, we have seen the government that we have at the moment, and we cannot go on with this sort of government anymore. People who are willing to fight something that is not necessary. When a lot of people are going without food, we have a lot of other issues, and then you have a government that's willing to go and corrupt people in another nation. First of all, that's making the bilateral relationship with South Africa to be at stake, and we wouldn't want a government like that. So this message is going to the United Front that we want to go against the UPND next year. So if we have political parties that do not want to team up with everyone else, because a lot of us Zambians are asking for that. So if we have those political parties that are not willing to stand as one, we better not even have them. So the State Council, through you, please take this message for us to those people, including the ones that will be coming up. We are going to be talking about this every day. And we appreciate, because it shows that right now, even those politicians are willing to listen to the people, because I think we are tired. We have had enough of this government. Thank you, State Council.
Thank you very much. Let me take the last call for this round so that then we can allow our Honorable State Council to give his quick remarks. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hi, good evening. I'd also like to remain anonymous. I'm calling from the UK.
From the UK, Anonymous, please proceed.
Yeah, I've got two questions for Sakwiwa Sikota. Firstly, given his profession as a lawyer and the fact that we've now had a few callers who would like to remain anonymous, I wonder what his thoughts are as to the state of affairs from a security perspective is looking like for Zambia. Are we turning more into a police state? And then secondly, I'd like to ask, should the united opposition win, what would they prioritize in order to fix Zambia and put us back on the right track? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just the last call for this round coming up. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador. Good evening, Honorable Sikota. Our men anonymous. What a level-headed man is President Sikota. Very soft-spoken. Yeah, but I want to say some things here. Honorable Sikota, you are a lawyer, and you have seen many things in Zambia. I think from the time of Dr. Kaunda, you have seen cases, you have seen how government was run during that time, and you have seen what is happening now. What is your take on the state of affairs when it comes to the running of elections by ECZ? Because I have seen things that are perceived to be malpractices in the running of elections by ECZ, by the current ECZ. It all started with the Bowman Losambo, Joe Malanji. Now it looks like the opposition in parliament is losing an MP almost every month, and there is nothing that is happening. As the opposition front, what are you doing about it? Are you going to just watch and see everyone, every position, every member of the opposition taken? Because from now, I think the opposition has lost a good number of people to the UPND by these by-elections. So are you just going to look at this situation just like that? Number two, I wanted to know from you, sir. You are a lawyer. There are so many things that are happening in this country. Partly is human rights abuses. There is a report that was done by a rapporteur. What are you going to do about that report? Because if nothing is done, the government will say it is well. Everything that we are doing is okay. There is nothing that we can do. We saw during the UPND when they were in opposition, they used to run to Commonwealth, UN, SADC, and all these organizations. And we saw how that Commonwealth Secretary General turned Zambia as a second home. She was coming here in order to speak to the government about certain things. As the opposition, are you going to do the same thing? Are you going to talk to this Commonwealth, UN, and all these people? Because the picture is not right, the picture is not good. The issue of cyber laws is one worry. You know, cyber security, cyber laws, or I can say social media, is a community. We can't live without social media. It's part of our lives. Now, if we can't use social media the way we're supposed to use for fear to be arrested or be given criminal charges, what is there? What is a phone for? How are people going to communicate? How are people going to receive the information about some of these things? We have seen everyone is in fear. The church is in fear. Journalists are in fear. They cannot report on something. So it's a kind of a scaring kind of scenario. So what is your take on these matters, sir? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chairman, as you have seen, this is a very highly interactive program and there are so many calls. But quickly give you a good answer, then we go to another set of calls and then, we begin to wind down to allow you to rest. But you can pick up from the callers that have asked so far.
Thank you very much. We don't need to wind down for me to rest. There is no rest that we can have as people serving the people of Zambia.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me some more time. Yeah.
There was the question which was raised by Anne. I'm calling her Anne, shortening anonymous to Anne, by Anne, the first Anne. And I think that it does tie in also with some of the things that Patrick from the UK was asking. You have to understand that President Hakainde is somebody who did not have any history of wanting to serve people. He was not in politics at any level, and he was not a member of the Rotary Club or of the Lions or JCs. He doesn't have a history of serving the people. He's just got a history of being in business and making money for himself and his friends. That is his history. So it's not surprising that now that he has got political power, it is not the people that he is serving, but he is, again, serving his friends who are now making very good money, getting into partnership with all kinds of international companies and so forth. So the background of somebody and what they've done in life tells you what they will continue doing. That is why you need people who have got a background of having served people, of having served not just for themselves. And so that perhaps explains to you and as to what President Hakainde is. Now, let me try to get to these questions. Patrick was saying that he hopes that the United Opposition Front becomes a reality. It is a reality, but what we need to do is this reality must present to the Zambian people what its policies are and who the flag bearer is. So that goes to the question that I had not answered earlier on.
Yes, yes.
If you recall, I said that we are putting in place certain things. Those things we are putting in place are to sort of like totally agree in terms of the policies that we're going to have. You'll also recall that I had said that our aim is not simply to remove UPND and President Hakainde.
No.
Their removal will merely be collateral damage. We look upon this as being the most important thing is not removal of UPND and President Hakainde. The most important thing is the day after. The day after we've removed them and we've won election. That's the most important thing. What are we going to present to the Zambian people? That's what is going to make us have these few weeks before the end of August, before we come back to you with the flag bearer. We don't want to just say, here's the flag bearer, and then the people say, yes, so what is the flag bearer going to do for us? And then we say, hold on, we'll come back to you on that. As we announce the flag bearer, we'll also be announcing to you that these are the important issues that we promised the Zambian people we are going to do. And this is how we are going to go about doing it. So that it will be not just the desire to get power. No. The day after is what is important. What are we going to do for the Zambian people? So that is going to be presented to you. There are certain things which we already know that we have to do. For example, if I jump to what somebody was asking a bit further down with regards to our minerals, we strongly believe that the minerals are for the Zambian people. That the Zambians should feel the benefits and get the benefits of their minerals. we don't believe that, for example, if you take emeralds, there was that report of, according to our records, I think it was something like $30 million worth over a certain period had been sent to Dubai. But the records in Dubai were saying that the Zambian minerals, emeralds, which had come for that same period, were over $1 billion. So clearly there's something wrong. 30 million and over $1 billion. We're losing a lot. If it was me, I know somebody was, again, in the question saying that we shouldn't be talking about grabbing the mines from people. We don't need to be crude like that, no. With emeralds, for example, I would give notice to the people who have got emerald mines that in 6 months' time, we are going to evaluate all the emerald mines which are there, and those which are not making profit and making losses, those ones we will take them. And how do we know which ones are making profits and losses and what we compensate them? It will be the declarations they have been making. So those people who have been declaring, for example, 30 million as opposed to 1 billion, would give them 30 million and take over that, and the Zambian people start
thank you, Chair. I can see the phones are still buzzing. Just hold your thought. Let's just take a few more questions so that our members feel that they've interacted with you. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and kindly be brief so that we allow as many people as possible.
Thank you, Ambassador. Good evening, and good evening, State Council.
Yeah, he can hear you. Proceed.
Okay, thank you.
I can't hear.
I'll be brief, and may I just continue with being anonymous for now? We have seen that politicians, when they are in opposition, make very good promises. They say the right things that we want them to say. They make the right promises that we hope they can make. We have seen that with the current president. He made the very good promises, and it raised the hopes in the Zambian people that I think for once we are going to have a leadership that is going to transform this country. But alas, that has not happened as we hoped it would happen.
Anonymous, so make your question. Yes, quickly ask your question.
Yes, so my question to the State Council and the opposition is, what guarantee do they give to the Zambian people that should they give them an opportunity to lead the country, they will not U-turn just like we have seen happening under the current government?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador Mwamba, calling you from the USA. I'd like to remain anonymous today.
Yes.
And good evening, State Council.
Thank you. Please make your contribution.
As we are talking about the United Front, I want to pose this question to the State Council. What is your thought about the young people? In whatever discussions we are having as various political parties, where do you place the young people? Because the young people play a very cardinal role. We already have seen young people's movement that has come up, and the young people are this time demanding a place on the table of decision making. So what is your thought about the inclusion of young people?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Anonymous, calling from Zambia.
Yes, Anonymous. Make your contributions.
Good
Good evening, Council Sakura Sikota.
Thank you.
Good evening.
A quick one. Ngamwaisa chita organize wa Sakura Sikota na ibumba lienu. Ushe ukubiru wa patunwa. Mule ilifunde mkeza chita poshani. Thank you so very much and good evening.
Ukubirwa pakano, I think cyber crimes. I think that's what he means. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening. Can you get me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, this is Mr. Zulu Thomas from Zambia and a member of the Gen Z Zambian movement.
Thank you, Mr. Zulu. Make your contributions.
Yes. Firstly, I wish to commend the State Council Sakwiba Sikota for a well-presented appearance on your podcast.
Yes.
And I concur with what he has said.
Yeah.
Zambians, I think, must know now that we're at a crossroads. Crossroad, one route to doom, one route to emancipating ourselves. The Zambians, I'm happy that they are aware that HH should go. They've already knocked him out of the ring. The Zambians are just now waiting to usher in a winner, which is from the opposition front, the opposition alliances to take over.
Thank you.
I cannot go on to actually tabulate the failures of HH because I'll take the whole day.
Yeah.
But what I know is that wherever you go now, everyone is complaining. Everyone wants 2026 to come early so they vote him out. And going is going. I also want to echo what the State Council has said. There is no differences within the opposition ranks. You know, when you have so many opposition fronts coming together, of course there might be one or two different issues that might come up. But the unity within the opposition front in Zambia, we are now moving to the apex of an agreement, and he has already given a roadmap of around the August or before August, you see, where we shall usher in somebody who shall be in the opposition front. And this is the one the Zambians will lift. And I urge the Zambians to register as voters, to vote. Let's not just complain. Get on a minibus, they are complaining. Rules and regulations are being set up, they are being brought every day based on emotions, based on hate, based on feelings, based on rumors, based on going after the opposition. How many of Zambians are out now because of the same segregative, you know?
Thank you, Gen Z. Let me take this call. SG, I think. SG, good evening. SG, I'm live. Are you calling to contribute to Honorable Sakwiba Sikota's program, or you are calling for something personal and private?
Personal.
Oh.
I don't know what your subject is, but
I'm hosting.
I'll wait.
Okay, I'm hosting Honorable Sakwiba Sikota. You can just greet him, and then yeah.
Okay, yeah, good evening, State Council, but we'll talk later, isn't it?
Okay. No, I thought you were calling to contribute. Thank you very much, SG. Raphael Nakachinda.
Good evening, SG.
Yeah. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. I'd rather remain anonymous like most people.
Yes, we know.
So unfortunate.
You are protected. Please make your contributions.
Thank you very much. I've got two questions for Sakwiba Sikota. The first one, I know we all Zambians want to have a united opposition, but what I will ask mainly pertains to UKA. So, Dr. Sikota, I'd like to find out what you as UKA think about the current composition of the ECZ, and do you have any concerns considering the composition of the ECZ, as in, do you think they'll give us free and fair elections next year? And my next question is, what measures does UKA propose to ensure transparency and fairness in the electoral process, given the current ECZ's role in managing the elections and looking at the composition that we've got. Thank you.
That question, Chairman, is not going away. Can ECZ deliver a free and fair election? That question is just not going out. People are very, very concerned about that. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador, State Council.
Good evening.
And this is Alfred from within Saka.
Yes, Albert.
Just two contributions, Ambassador. As a citizen of this country, I'm really worried about the bill.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is capable of attempting to bribe the foreign judges, what was he appoints? And what about those he is able to fire and to hire? I am very concerned and very worried about that. And every time we are citizens that we have got a bad leader whom we need to get rid of before he messes us up further. We can't have one person messing the country up like this. Have you seen many anonymous? There's fear in people. There's so fear people speak. They can't disclose who they are. You know, we need to get rid of this leader before he messes this country in faith, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The cyber laws have brought a blanket of fear on our people, and our people are very, very concerned. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make a quick contribution. Hello, you are live.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'll remain anonymous and good evening to the State Council.
Yes, Anonymous. Make your contributions quickly.
Yeah, we have a challenge in this country because my question is, what do you think about the institution of governance? Because what I think about this institution of governance, like the Electoral Commission of Zambia, the judiciary, all these institutions are compromised. But what guarantees we have that in case of any challenge in terms of election, this institution can protect the democracy of this country? And another issue I'm trying to put across is, I'm trying to urge all the opposition leaders to get united. If they fail to get united, I can assure them that all of them are going to prison. We are dealing with a very ruthless government and a very, very dangerous criminal syndicate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unite or go to prison, Chair. That's a choice which is not a choice at all. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Munkonge calling. Good evening.
Emgwa ba Munkonge ku East London in South Africa. Ba Munkonge landeni po. Ipshen ba chair.
Munkonge walife bwino. Question to the State Council. I want to ask State Council why should go to Chitako address Bushe Chavashan President to quicker community house or state house. Or if he qualify Bantaba responsible to become president ku state house and we have Frida Itwara Kufe. So I should to Chitako address Pakovati to Aquata who should be on.
Okay. Thank you very much. About the president living at State House. Yeah. Let's just take a raft of these phone calls and then allow State Council to answer. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Anonymous.
Yes, Anonymous.
Thank you. Just two questions for State Council, and thank you so much for well presented the presence on our Emmanuel Mwamba Verified program. The issue of ECZ State Council. How safe are we that we are going to have fair and free election, and what are we doing about This is it. So far, the happenings don't assure us confidence going forward. But we need a comment on that. Secondly, the issue of our constitution. What would be your comment regarding our constitution in its current state? Does it safeguard the freedoms and rights of our people? Bearing in mind that it appears the president has too much powers. Do we think of looking at this so that our institutions that safeguard the freedoms of the people are safeguarded and the presidency power is controlled to some extent? Was there lies a problem? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Chair, we brought you to the boiling pot here. We call it a boiling pot because it's so interactive with our people from across the world. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening. Please ask your question to Honorable Sikota, Sikota State Council, or make your contribution.
Yeah, it's not a question as such. I think I probably would just want to find out from the barrister. Basakwiba, why have we found ourselves in this position? If you look, people have been calling, and majority are saying, I would want to remain anonymous. Why?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The right call to Honorable Sikota. He's seen many governments. He's seen dictatorship and democracy. He's able to answer that question. He will answer it. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening.
Anonymous.
Yes, anonymous.
Okay. One question. I have two questions from the State Council. Number one, why me? What's their position up to now? It's a State Council this man. Why me? Why me?
Okay.
The other one, second question, what about the audio video today? As a council, the president linking with that video, we need to get proper actions, not talking. Why may have disappeared? No action. Can't you go to court, make something so that we know? We don't have to delay the sana abantu. We are not moving. We are just talking. We are about to reach 2026. All seats they are taking, talking to actions. Where is our needs? Those are the way to stand so that people can see.
Thank you very much. We have two people officially missing. Why me? Francis Kapwepe was abducted from South Africa, and the Chingola businessman Tony Konga Sakashenda, who's been missing since January. They want an answer from you, and they say, can you take an action? Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. I think I would prefer to be anonymous as well.
Anonymous, make your contribution or ask question to Honorable Sikota, Sikota.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Sikota, Sikota, I think for me the two issues. The first one has to do with the events that have taken place, and I would like to know if you think that these are good grounds for a honorable president to resign. Number one, there was an issue of Bill 7, which was done in a way that was unconstitutional, and the Constitutional Court ruled in that regard. And then there was an issue of the cyber laws that Laz has taken back to court, that the third reading was not done in Parliament. Then there was an issue of suing the widow of the former president in a foreign court, in effect prolonging her grief and her pain and that of the entire family. And now we have a situation where the president has been indicted in schemes that border on espionage and other things. You're a lawyer, you should probably know better than us. Does that constitute, grounds for a honorable president to just step down? That is my first question. The second question has to do with, the entire opposition, and I'm putting you on the spot. As members of the opposition, are you scared of Hakainde Hichilema? Are you scared of him? Why are you quiet when he says you can't wear a guard in certain places? Why is it quiet from you people? Are you scared of him? Or what are you going to do? Are you scared of him when he grabs this parliamentary? So right now we can see it in real time, them going for Bino Mpundu. Why is the opposition, I don't know if it's disintegrated or what, are you scared of him? Are you scared to speak up or stand up and tell him? Is there some fear? Is there something that you know about this person that when he keeps doing these things, the opposition is quiet? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anonymous. The infractions and mistakes and acts of corruption should be resigned to why is the opposition quiet? Now let me promise my guest 5 last calls, and we give him 15 minutes to wind up, answer and wind up. Good evening, please tell us your name and tell us where you are calling us from.
Yes, please. My name is Bruce. I'm calling from United Kingdom. Good evening, Ambassador, and also good evening to State Council.
Thank you, Bruce. Make your contribution or your question.
Yes, please. The question which I want to ask Ambassador Mwamba is that I've got 2 questions I want to ask. Why is it that each time we change the government, we change the constitution of Zambia? Why can't we have the constitution which can stand the test of time? Then why is it that each and every time the government is changed, everything within the departments, they change according to someone's suit the governance? These are things that we need to ask the Zambian people to maybe to amend the constitution, or maybe we put the constitution set of time. The other number 2 question I want to ask is that since our president is staying in Community House, what will happen when the government changes? Is it going to refund the taxpayers' money which has been spent on him staying in that side? What happens to the State House?
Thank you very much for those 2 key questions. Let's take some more questions. So now 4 more questions I've taken. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Okay, this one is from Australia.
Yes. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Kapwimbi. Thank you very much for hosting me and the State Council, Sakwiwa. Greetings to you. I've got a very, very this is going to be short. There's something that I want to talk about that is it is short. So this refers to actually my brother that is there, Ambassador Mwamba, my brother. There's something that I've been noticing on the media today that has become one of the hottest wanted persons on Interpol list. So, Nomba, if I heard you as a State Council, the biggest person that is there, if I heard Batangwa as the biggest person, people from the Constitutional Court, you have to go to the police, it has to go to the force headquarters, it has to go through so many channels. How long is that going to take to reach me who's sitting out here? So the thing is that now within 24 hours, under 24 hours, if people are able to draft this, put it through, make him the hottest person, it means we've got people behind it from the state. This is the kind of thing that we don't want to see in future. I know the man is sitting on a boiling pot, he's in Livingstone, Zambia in the sun. But the problem is that our elder, Takateka, and funny enough, 6-8 weeks ago, Mwamba said, I don't know why people call him Kasongo. He runs like a V8 without even looking at the danger in front of him. He just goes anywhere. So that one, you can talk about it. And then the last one is the corruption that has been happening. There is a tendency to make us forget about all this corruption that is happening. We had a big issue that happened up north Kosi AR, Ikama Hospital. army and what. Yes, we are happy they are building a barracks in Talala or something like that. Are you going to bring up that so that we put these guys to account? When an opera, I don't want to go wrong because every day they are arresting people. You know, the young man Chris is in, study is in, everyone is just going in. It doesn't make sense. There's an opera, Bakala.
Thank you very much. Kafumbi from Australia. Thank you. I'm remaining now with 2. I think I've taken 3. I'm remaining with 2 to allow State Council to answer. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you, Ambassador. I will remain anonymous.
Yes, please.
Yeah. First of all, Ambassador, I would want to commend you for the program.
Yes, thank you.
And indeed, everything that happens, there's always the hand of God. And I can assure you, your move to wherever you are was for a purpose, and it's really helping the country. What I would want to say to you is that
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh. Hello, please. We lost you there. Quickly, make your contribution.
Thank you, Ambassador. Your line is busy.
It is.
First of all, Ambassador, I would want to commend you for the job that you are doing.
Thank you very much.
Whatever happens for a reason, and your stay, the reason for your stay there, I think it was reasonable, and you shouldn't even complain because you are helping a lot of Zambians to have somewhere to breathe from. Second, I would want to commend Mr. Sikota for his eloquence, especially on how he's articulating issues. Especially, I loved how he described the past for our president, where he said that he never contested, he never had anything to do with reading people. So I think it can tell where he's coming from and where we are right now. Honorable Sakura, keep it up and hold the opposition together. Now, the concern that I have, Ambassador, is that we've seen how we have lost by-elections in the past, I think for more than 10 seats, whereby from the point of genuineness, I think it's not there. Most of these seats have just been grabbed away without anyone saying anything. It started with Maranji, together with Mr. Rusambo, how they lost those seats. I think the Zambian people are aware about it. Now, the question is, we are having the same people who are winning by-elections without effort. They are winning them from the offices. What formula is there, Honorable, to secure that the person who is going to win next year will win according to the wishes of the people? Because I don't see it easily with this kind of leadership that we have to hand over power so easily. Because most of these issues, I think they are in public domain. And then I've got also the concern, Honorable, concerning the audio for Mr. Shavinga, where he said that the judges need to eat. Does it mean that all these legal battles that have been lost by political opponents, the judges have eaten something? Does it mean the judges have eaten? Including the legitimate case for the former president, Mr. Edgar Chagwarum, may he so rest in peace. Did the judges eat?
Thank you.
I have got the confidence where they would say that the judges in a foreign country with a strict judicial system like South Africa. What happens here in Zambia? And this is a team that has been sent by the top officials in the country. So, does it mean that the cases you say judge by here? And then the other one, Honorable, is that in the audio, there's where the woman cabinet minister was saying that now what is Mwarishibe? What is it that they did which they never realize that these things can come to this far. I think on that one also I've got a lot of question marks. Yeah, so
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Let me take the last call. Let me just take the last call now, the last call, and we can allow Honorable Sakwiba Sikota to answer and also wind up. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and your last caller. I know people are calling. I wish to apologize. We can't take any more calls. I'm so grateful. Please make your contributions.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Mwamba. This is Chauri.
Okay.
And I have one important question that is to ask you. This affects you from PF and also Mr. State Council. On the issue of organization, if you try to do retrospective and look back, you would find that some of these things which are happening, let's say dismantlement of PGF, these are some of the things which are kind of, can be blamed on ourselves, So what is it that you are doing to ensure that you are organized? Because if you remember, the death of Mao Zedong faction came in because they have failed to reorganize, in the first place. And later on, Uka also is kind of going to the demise because of, again, failing to organize. Citizen First President even left the party because of that. Even you as PF, you left Uka because of kind of failure to organize. So what are you doing? Because every day crying foul doesn't help. You need to get organized and fight this animal which is there. You cannot fight if you are fighting yourself. You are weak.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. We have to allow Honorable Sakwiba Sikota. He's been so gracious. There are so many calls. I apologize, callers. Please, let's just allow. I think, Honorable Chair, you have taken time to understand at least the views of Zambians about the unity of the position of the opposition and the state of the country. And also their despair, as you saw, everyone is anonymous. Please just answer all these, I think, in a rounded manner, and then help us with your closing remarks.
Yes, thank you very much. I think that anybody who's been listening to the callers who have been calling can clearly see that Zambian people feel frustrated. Zambian people feel there is a need for change. Zambian people feel that there is a need for the opposition parties to work together. Zambian people are demanding that us, the politicians, put aside our egos and our personal desires and concentrate on serving them. I think that the other thing that has come through quite clearly by the number of people who have declined to give their names and are saying that they would rather remain anonymous is the very fact that we are now living in a state which is frightening the ordinary Zambian from speaking. If you go on various social media sites, people, when they're commenting on stories which have been posted, a lot of them will say, I don't have a lawyer. I would have liked to comment. That in itself is a statement that they no longer feel free. Zambians do not feel free. Zambians are not free under this government. This cybersecurity legislation they've brought in is scaring so many people. And the government should ask itself, why should Zambians across the board be afraid of merely expressing themselves? That tells you something about you as a government, that people are afraid of you. I saw a very interesting video of President Cyril Ramaphosa attending a funeral somewhere. And there was this young man in his teens, early teens, who was speaking at the funeral. He must have been a relative of the deceased. And he talked about thing, and then he says, no, it's very nice to be here, and there's Cyril there. He felt free enough to address his president in that manner, a young man. And Cyril laughed, and everybody else laughed. You could see that that is a society which is at peace. You can't see that kind of thing here in Zambia, because even when somebody is in mourning, like how the family is, the Lungu family, you have the UPND people saying, immediately after the burial, we are going to sort you out. That is the kind of things that they say. That is the atmosphere they build up of fear, where you can even threaten people who are in mourning. You have a situation where Chavinga holds a press conference, and he openly states that he's going to deal violently with people and sort them out. And you have the Inspector General of Police doing nothing, threatening violence. He should have been picked up for that. If somebody is going to try to bring up a private prosecution, which I hope that the PF people will do, because he was threatening them with violence. And it's all documented, it's on video, him saying that. They should bring out private prosecution. And I just hope that Gilbert Perry, the DPP, will do the decent thing and not interfere. Otherwise, people will now start resorting to self-help if they cannot get the law to protect them. So those are the kind of things that these people must keep in mind, that there are consequences for the things that they do or do not do. And they have to set the right precedents. So people saying that they are anonymous, I don't blame them. It's because of the direction that this government is taking the people. I think Ambassador stated that I have seen all of the governments we've had in Zambia, and I'm also lucky in that with each and every one of the presidents we've had, without exception, each and every one of them, I have had opportunity to have one-on-ones with them, to interact with them, each one, from Kaunda right up to the current one. And I can state quite honestly that the one who seems to have very little public relations, very little a sense of community is the current. I say that from experience I've had of, like I said, having interacted with each and every one of the presidents we've had in this country. One-on-one, not seeing them from afar, but having one-on-one discussions with them. We need to ensure that we get somebody who does not feel lack confidence so much that he has to resort to praising himself. Every single day, he has to praise himself. If you're confident in yourself, your works will speak for themselves. You don't need to start saying, I'm Nikambile, or, I did this and that. No, people will see for themselves. You don't need to force it on people to accept you and to praise you. That shows you the kind of person who is there. Now, when you have such a person, like somebody was saying, there's a need to ensure that they are removed. Because another 5 years of this government, I can assure you, we are going to go into a very, very dark place. We have had a one-party state in this country. We've had a situation where you had a state of emergency in this state. But I can state without any sense of contradiction that the one-party state with its state of emergency was a freer nation than what we have today under this government. Under that one-party state and state of emergency, you could be detained. But upon being detained, grounds for your detention would have to be given to you within 14 days. Today, there's no state of emergency. It's supposedly not a one-party state, but you have get people detained without being brought to court, without any grounds being given to them, longer than 14 days. You have people who cannot be accounted for. There are those two examples which were given by one of the callers. And this is even without a state of emergency being in place. It shows you how bad the situation is. How can that be happening? There's no state of emergency. Somebody was saying that, are we afraid? No, we're not afraid. That is why you have people who are speaking out. That is why you see that as the opposition, even when they've got these cyber laws, we do have our protests. We protested after Honorable Mawonga's case, merely putting up paper banners, not hurling insults or anything. In fact, our mouths were sealed with tape. And the police violently came, grabbing the posters from us at the courts. And there's no state of emergency. Just shows you how bad the situation is. I think that the Zambian people deserve better. There is Bill 7, like some people were saying, and now this government saying that in spite of what the Constitutional Court has said, they'll still go ahead and bring back Bill 7. And this is a government which promised people that they would adhere to the rule of law. The rule of law demands that when there is a court judgment, you accept the court judgment, even if it went against you. That's what the rule of law means. It doesn't mean that you say you don't care about what the Constitutional Court said, and in spite of what they said, you're going to go against what they have ruled. That is a total breakdown on the rule of law. Imagine if everybody in Zambia took that stance that this government is taking, that what the courts say doesn't matter. You can do whatever you like. Just try to imagine what that would mean. There would be total chaos, anarchy. Is that what this government wants? Is that what the Zambian people want? This government does want that, yes, it seems, but the Zambian people don't want that. So we have to make sure that we get rid of these people. It goes again to other institutions, not just the legislature, National Assembly, in terms of it being a letdown, in terms of being a check and balance to other arms. When you look at the Electoral Commission of Zambia that people talked about, I think that quite clearly we need to have a new Electoral Commission of Zambia, one which is truly independent. The current chair is not independent. I mean, there's so many pictures of her in UPND gear. There's people who have been advocates for UPND filling all the positions in there. Certainly, that does not give people confidence that the elections will be done fairly. You have mysterious contracts being given for people to print ballot papers that are not checked by people. All of a sudden, you know, when there was the Lumezi seat, when there was the wrong names, overnight or 2 nights, there's new ballot papers. Nobody has had an opportunity to even verify them and so on. That should not be happening. You have an electoral commission which is telling people that you can't go dressed in certain party attire. I can let you know that us in the United Opposition have agreed that we are going to go to the Mfuwe by-election. And we're going to go and support the Socialist Party candidate. I'm going to go there and I'm going to wear ULP attire. This is what I've done very many times. If you remember, in 2006, ULP went into an electoral pact with the Patriotic Front. And I would go around and support President Sata in his campaign and at the same rallies. And at each and every one of those places I went, if you recall, I was adorned in United Liberal Party attire. Even when there would be flashing of political symbols, I would not flash the PF one, I would flash the ULP one. That is not the only time that I've gone to support somebody. In 2011, I went in support of Rupiah Banda and the MMD and went around the country with him. At all of the rallies where I went, again, I was not wearing MMD attire. I was wearing ULP. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And even the UPND itself, in the last election, their partners, they would wear, in the UPND alliance, they would wear and flash their symbols. There was nothing wrong with that, apparently, but now all of a sudden they say that that is wrong. That is the desperation that this government has. Everything that they were saying was bad when they were in opposition is now good. Everything they said they were going to do in opposition is now bad. An example of that is, for example, the very Cybersecurity Act. They stated very clearly that one of the first things they would do is get rid of the Cybersecurity Act. They come into power. What they do is to strengthen and make it even more harsh rather than getting rid of it. That's how insincere they are. That's what makes the Zambian people feel frustrated and say that they do not want to give this government any more time. It is because of things of that nature. Now, some of the people were asking to say, what are you going to do when you come in, and how do we know that you're not just going to tell us good things like how this government did and then do the opposite? There's a big difference between us and them. One of the differences is that as the United Opposition Front, we are not about one person or one individual. There isn't this Messiah who's going to be the one who knows it all and whose word must be taken. We are a group of people who respect each other. When we talk to each other, I don't go and kneel in front of President Shalakateka or go and kneel in front of President Trevor Mwamba or kneel in front of President Fred Membe, nor do they come and kneel before me and so on. Because when you're kneeling before somebody, how can you even give them advice if you're doing so from a kneeling position? It means that you're already saying that they don't need to take into account what you're saying. So we respect each other. Yes, there'll be one of us who will be the first amongst equals, if you like, but that doesn't mean that we will be going there to kneel before them. We are a group, and that's what we're going to present to the Zambian people, a credible group of people, but with somebody whom will say, in the meantime, this is the one who will be our leader. And this leader is going to sign on what we promise the Zambian people. We are all going to sign. So if Anonymous is our flag bearer, and then Anonymous decides that he's going to do things different from what we had agreed, we would immediately then have a situation like what President Chiluba faced when the 22 in MMD said they're resigning their positions as ministers and so forth, even as vice president, and because he's not doing what they agreed. All of us know that our colleagues will not just sit back, because we owe it to the Zambian people that what is promised is what will be delivered. So we will each be a check on each other to ensure that promises made are promises kept. So that is one big difference that there is between us and them. So you can be rest assured that the promises we'll make will be met. And we will not be making fantasy promises. We'll be making realistic promises, promises that we can actually deliver on, promises that we mean. There's a need for sincerity to come back into Zambian politics. There's a need for honesty to come back into Zambian politics. And that is something that I can assure you, us in the United Opposition Front will be giving you. There's somebody who was saying that those who will not be coming together, they should forget being supported. And I think that caller, I think it was one of the anonymous ladies who said that. I think she was right. The Zambian people are not going to give time to people who intend to go solo. The Zambian people are resolved that they want a group of people who show that they are not egotistical about themselves. They want a group of people who are willing to hold hands and work together. So those who are still considering going solo, my advice is that listen to the Zambian people. Listen to the Zambian people. That is the only way to go. Then there's the issue as well, which was raised about the audio. Yet again, I think that one of the last callers was talking about that statement that judges need to eat. A very, very unfortunate statement. A statement that can just not be left like that. And that is why earlier on I had said that the president needs to address the nation. Was Chavinga saying that because Zambian judges are being fed by him, so he thinks South African judges can also be fed by him? Is that what that means? Because Zambian people arising from that audio think that that is the message being put forward. So the president has a duty to clear this up. If he doesn't, then the Zambian people will conclude that this is what this means. His own minister was amongst those who were there. She also has to come to explain to the Zambian people what was being said in that audio. Like I said earlier on, if their defense, their only defense is that that was AI, if they don't have the money for the forensic investigation and analysis of that to be done, us as the opposition will pay for it. They should not be afraid for a proper professional analysis to be done. And that is what will bring this down to being resolved one way or the other. They can't just wish it away. Being quiet will not make it go away. Being quiet, in fact, will make Zambian people believe that this is true and there must be other things that have not come to light which are just as bad. So from a public relations point of view, they need to take this issue of the audio seriously and to address it. There's so many issues which were raised, and I'm trying to remember if I've touched on most of them.
No, I think, Honorable Chair, we can excuse you. I think you've had the feel of what the callers were saying, and I think you've given a general and in some cases particular answers. I think what must be understood is we have a nation in peril, in crisis, and the people of Zambia are looking up to you, the opposition. Just give your closing remarks, and I would like to thank you so deeply for spending so much time with us and with our dear audience.
Yes, thank you very much. And like one of the people were saying, you're doing a great job. And I think that you must be commended for this program and the opportunity that you've given me and others to come and talk to the Zambian people. And I think that it also should make the Zambian people feel that all is not lost if you can have brave people coming up and talking to the things that need to be addressed in Zambia. One of the callers talked about registration, and I think that that is very important, and I think that that is something that I must stress, that there is a need for us to be encouraging people to go and register as voters, to get their registration cards. That this vote is probably the most important vote that has ever come up in Zambia's history. This is the most important. It is the most important because we have a government which is moving us away from democracy, a government which is very quickly whittling away the freedoms we have as Zambians. If we do not make that important decision in 2026, this trend will carry on. A trend where those who are seeing will be able to let you know that this is the worst that Zambia has been. In spite of this government claiming that for the first time in history, they talk about the wrong things. For the first time in history, we have a country where the majority of people feel that the government is not working for them. For the first time in Zambia's history, we have a situation where it seems that regionally we have no friends. For the first time in Zambia's history, when you go out, I was out recently, and you say you're from Zambia, they actually feel sorry for you. Some laugh at you. It's not like those days when if you go out and you say from Zambia, Mwanawasa, or Kaunda. No, it's no longer like that. they laugh at us now. That shows you how low down we have gone in terms of how people view us. We need to bring Zambia back to where it was, a leader not only in the region, but in the world. That can be done if we do basic, decent things. Not where you have to end up with a situation where a special rapporteur of the United Nations comes out with that damning report, and instead of addressing it, you start trying to just rubbish the person, but don't address the issues that are raised in that report. That is the same as they're trying to do to the audio. Address those issues arising from that audio. I know that the Zambian people are watching. The Zambian people are intelligent. The youths are also watching. They're very intelligent. And they can see that this government made promises to them way back in 2021, and none of those promises have been met.
Oh, thank you very much.
Its supporters, those are the ones who voted. But as one of the people who called in said, a lot of people who were in support of them have now said they are disappointed. You heard the speakers themselves who were calling in. You have 25,000 miners in Mufumbwe who were brutalized. They have families and friends. So times that 25, perhaps by 10, that's 250,000. Do you think those Mufumbwe people are going to be voting for this government? You have the street vendors who were thrown out. There was about 30,000 street vendors in Lusaka. Their goods taken and everything. Again, times that by 10, that's 300,000. Do you think that they are still part of the 2.8 million? There are so many examples like that. So that 2.8 million, I can assure you, does not exist. It has been squandered. This government is on the way out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the great opportunity you gave us, and thank you for your insights. And we wish you well in bringing together first the leadership in United Kwacha Alliance, and then you're reaching out to the other alliances like in Tonse, in Zambia We Want, and other who could even be outside any of these structures that you as the opposition are trying to put you together. I think as you saw from the callers, Zambians are looking up to the opposition. They are no longer debating whether President Hichilema should come back or not. So I'd like to thank you, and thank you for giving us this good opportunity. And to you, the callers, I'm grateful for your insistent calls and you calling across the world. You make this program what it is. Tomorrow, we have Honorable KBF tune in, who is going to give us a perspective from Zambia Must Prosper and their views in Tonse Alliance. We've lined up a lot of these leaders. As Honorable Sikota Scott has committed himself today, we want you to hear it from what they would call the horse's mouth. Hear it from themselves as you rely on the opposition to resolve the current crisis that is in our country. And I like what Honorable Sikota Scott was saying. It's not about the removal of President Hakainde Hichilema which matters. It's what you do on the second day after he's gone. What do you do? I loved that. So God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time. Oye,
na kuyalelo tevyo bayevi Amita pendwa ya vintu ifisume vyoto kula kuibukisha Tana depochimo Wimbo wa temenu wa katongi Awazunga watita katongi na kula kuibukisha kateka Aibuku muna kapona Neseko siove pamenso Yangwa umebaya Iyaba Iyaba ume Iyaba ume
Kateka wabantu Twakulira lelo twakulira Shika kukonke milimo shove
Eti kume mo pulo dolola vale lilo wingi
Isa kwa wingi mwakwete Isa so wingi mwakwete Mwaya Mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
Katushi muchi mwakege Mwali bomba kale Nomba mwatuja tuleli laki
Upanga mwine Ole mwine Ine lalila Lalila Lalila
Ya mama Ala nacho mwabye Mama Ukula bebyo wachito bwingi Imisebo wapagiri obwingi Ukuchinjo lusako kumonebo busaka Mama Kutituwa na basiani Chagwa katuse